All right, happy Tuesday, Wednesday. What is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Glad you're with us tonight for overrated, underrated, rated right Wednesday. We'll get into that as we go through Texas Tech football. Yeah, we got that. And 23 years later, your most vivid memories of September 2001. All of that tonight and more as we come to you from the Arctic Air Studios here outside the Hubaplex in the Ville. Now, what do? The early arrivals. You let us know the audio is good, the video is good. You give us thumbs up, you give us hearts, you let us know whether you're watching on X, which is Twitter, YouTube, and our YouTube people are really picking it up this week. YouTube people are really kicking butt compared to the Facebook people. So we're going to see how many Facebook people versus YouTube people we got on the comments tonight. Easy to do, and it's all brought to you by United Supermarkets and Market Street. That's right, all the communications, all the chat, all the stuff you see tonight. Brought to you by the grocery store that supports Texas Tech in West Texas versus the one that sends their money on down south. Hi there, Craig. Glad the talking box is on, even if most people have no idea what that means. All right, we got a lot of stuff to do tonight. Some of it's going to be fun, some of it's going to be serious, some of it's going to have to do with football, some of it's going to have to do with I have no idea what. I do know that I enjoy the time we spend together, and I appreciate you guys jumping in, and you guys make the show unique, totally different than anything else that emanates forth from West Texas. There are a lot of great shows, radio, TV, all that stuff, but you guys make what we do here after 35 years in the business make me want to get up every day and say, I can't wait to hang out with everybody tonight on the daily broadcast. In three, in two, good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You started your day on the website. You got the over-under and underrated question of the day. Talking cookies, by the way, tonight on that. Then you saw the Raiderland hot links and said, dang, that's some cool stuff. Hyatt really bringing it. Yeah, that's what I do for you guys every morning. I serve them up hot and fresh, the best links around Raiderland and beyond. So tonight, what are we talking about? All right, so first off, every Wednesday, over underrated right. I give you a topic, you guys give me something. We're talking cookies. I know that sounds really like cookies. Yeah, no, seriously, cookies. There are a bajillion cookies. Have you been down the cookie aisle lately at your local grocery store, Market Street, or otherwise? My gosh. And I look at some of them and go, who eats those? And then I look at the Nutter Butter and I go, you should have more space. The Nutter Butter is the most underrated cookie of all time. I submit to you. Regarding Texas Tech football tonight, specifically, let's discuss as we work in year three, basically, of the transfer portal in NIL. And I want to ask you tonight, because I saw a question today, or an answer really to a question, and you had some, pontificators on, I believe, ESPN, talking about the transfer portal equates to more upsets. I'm like, okay, all right. Does it? And if it does, why? But beyond that, whether you're Wreckham right there, love that off YouTube. Peanut butter cookies, underrated. Do you believe right now that the transfer portal in NIL, and they go hand in hand, is it good for Texas Tech right now or bad? Is Texas Tech benefiting from it, or is it a net negative? Or you can say, well, I don't know, and that's okay. And then finally, 23 years ago today, I woke up listening to Jack Dale Sports Line, and I heard Jack and Steve talking about a plane crash in New York City, and this was about 7-something our time. And by the way, it was impressive I was getting up at 7-something our time because we'd done Monday Night Football on a remote at Cujo's the night before. Believe me, it was impressive I was getting up. And I staggered into my shower there at the house, not thinking anything, and came back out, and the world was aflame. Your most vivid memories of September 2001, if you want to discuss that, if you want to have some talks about that. I can give you some of the stories about how we handled it at KKM and KFYO in Lubbock and what transpired that day, that week. We can do all those things. But I'm glad you're with us. All right. We're brought to you in part by the Shropshire Agency, independent, just like West Texans. If you're looking for an independent insurance agent, they can handle the family needs, the business needs, maybe your church, doesn't matter. You call Jeff Shropshire here in Lubbock. Trust me, nobody does it better. 70 years, I believe now. I think it's 70 years in West Texas. And we're brought to you by Tall Pine Resort in Red River, New Mexico. If you just wake up one day and say, I don't want to have anything to do with media and debates and this and that, I want to go somewhere where I can disconnect. Hi there, Tall Pine Resort. Since the 1930s. My family started going in the 1950s. TV? No, no TV. Phone? No phone. Wi-Fi? If you can get a signal, you can get a signal. River? Yeah. Lake? Yeah. Hiking? Yes. Beautiful mountains. Cabins? Dialing it back? Yeah. Cool people? Yeah. Tall Pine Resort, Red River, New Mexico. If you've been wanting something like that, just up the valley, about 2.5 clicks, in a totally different world. We love Tall Pine. We're glad we can tell you guys about them. No Namath. Ginger snaps underrated. Eh. Eh. Underrated, the chocolate oatmeal no-bake cookie. All right, here's the deal. I like oatmeal as a breakfast food. As a cookie, I'm out on the oatmeal. Don't have anything to do with it. Fake Natalie Maines, who may or may not be as interesting as the real Natalie Maines. I've noticed that SEC teams have a lot of intra-conference transfers. Players leaving UGA and leaving UGA and going to Bama, vice versa. I don't know if there's a lot of Xerox players coming to Tech or Tech players going to Xerox. I hadn't even put a number to it. Don't know. So, and I mean, would it matter? Does it matter? I'm asking the question tonight. Do you think Texas Tech is benefiting from the portal and NIL or being hurt by it? Because the story I saw today is that all the upsets, not all the upsets, but that all the player transfers and everything else was compressing talent in the middle for the most part and going to create more upsets. Now, is Tech benefiting from that or getting hurt by that? You know, does that hurt Tech with ACU and North Texas, or does it help Tech with, I don't know, Texas, Oklahoma? You know, you're playing up, you're playing down. You tell me. What do you think? John says they need an NIL portal. I don't even know what an NIL portal for coaches is, but yeah. I think slightly net positive for Tech, but they need to take greater advantage of it. Yeah. And then you saw this week at Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy saying, hey, we can't afford to buy the players we need to be great. Now, Gundy hates all of it, and I get it, but it's staggering to me that he comes out and says, we can't afford it. And I guess that really tells us that Boone Pickens is dead. Texas Tech can afford it. There's not a roster spot they can't afford to pay money for. Hi there, Patrick Mahomes. Don't care where they come from, but we need an O-line. Yeah. If I'm Cody Campbell, you know, and all the money you've spent on the facilities, and if you're a Tech fan, you tip your cap and you say, thank God for Cody Campbell. Put your name on the field if you want. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It's a name. But if you're a fan, you need like 10 Cody Campbells. But at what point they've got to get over? I think we're done at Texas Tech now. You don't spend any more money on facilities, on things. You spend money on people. If you're Texas Tech in the age of the next 5 years, until we get a salary cap and until this goes to a unionized deal with the players, you spend money on players. Don't spend money on things. Players. Facilities will not matter in the coming years. The money you spend on the human capital, the labor, is what matters. So you got to do that. Garrett is on Facebook. Glad to have you out there, Garrett, man. Appreciate you being out there. Invite your friends in. Strongly benefit. Remember that national championship run of 2019, continued success of the program. Transfers. Mooney, Tariq Owens. Jackass, he figured it out early. The other programs that Tech have done a better job with it than football. Yeah, maybe. Have they? Tell me which ones and why and how. James, I think the portal is a sport, sport to. I have no idea what he's saying. The portal is a sport to sport review. If it's working, men's basketball, yes. Football, not so much at the moment. Okay. Finally got there on the. You guys are hard to read sometimes. By the way, everybody on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, if you can share this, invite people in, that'd be cool. I like that. I get what you're saying. And again, football is turning around an aircraft carrier versus a speedboat or a water ski boat in basketball. We have to understand that. But Texas Tech kind of stuck in the upper middle in football. It intrigues me your ideas on is it good, bad, or otherwise. Wins will bring in recruits. Yeah, no, not necessarily. Maybe some. But you know what brings in recruits now? Cash. The hold on. I gotta climb up here again. All right. Randy's on Facebook, and that's not a drug. That's just a platform. The Siete brand grain-free cookies are good. I like the Mexican chocolate chips. Mexican shortbread. I always turn my nose up at gluten-free stuff, and this brand is good. Why are you eating gluten-free? What's wrong with you? You all right? You got problems? Getting all right? Cody spent 50 grand on whiskey for his suite. Saw Collier is trying to sneak in there too. Collier doesn't drink whiskey. I'll tell you that right now. Wins will bring in recruits. Again, no. Money's going to bring in recruits. The ability to win, yeah, but used to be what would get recruits in. Are you playing on TV? Everybody's on TV now. Doesn't matter. Then it became, can you get me to the NFL? And there were 10 to 20 programs around the country that could consistently say to high-level football recruits, you come here, we can get you to the NFL. Now it's become, can I get paid right now? I don't really give a shit about going to the NFL. Can I get paid right now? My mom needs money. We need money. Can I get paid right now? If you can get me to the NFL after that, that's a bonus. Playing on TV doesn't matter anymore. A massive shift in only about 10 to 15 years. Wins, they don't care about wins. That hurts. That stings the average college football fan. They really don't. They care about the money right off the bat. Money. Get to the NFL. Check. Anything else after that, knock yourself out. Chris, basketball for sure has. I don't know what you mean by that. Also, the fudge stripe cookies are underrated. Are you talking about the Keebler fudge stripe? Ooh, they drizzle it in it. If you're doing that, yeah. Are Fig Newton's cookies, because if they are, underrated. Nutter butter, Fig Newtons, right there. Boom. I remember being a kid I get like 2 Fig Newtons, maybe and we didn't do this very often. I didn't get my lunch pack because my folks were teachers. And hey, you're going to eat in the cafeteria. But every now and then, might get one, and I might get 1 or 2 little them Fig Newtons in there, late 70s. Woo, not bad. Why don't you Periscope anymore? I don't know. Why don't you shave anymore? Underrated. Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie. Nothing Girl Scout cookies can be underrated at all. Nothing can be underrated Girl Scout cookies. Not necessarily an aircraft carrier. Kansas has gotten much better quality. They lost to Illinois. They went from shitty to not quite as shitty. Kansas football is fraudulent, right? They lost to Illinois. All right? They're fraudulent. Tyler, huh? We don't have the same number of billionaires as the Texas or A&M or the blue blood history of that, like Oklahoma or Alabama. Alabama, most of the people from Alabama have outhouses. They don't have a lot of money, but they have a great tradition. But I'll tell you this, Tyler, Texas Tech has plenty of money. Money ain't the issue. Texas Tech can go toe to toe with anybody across the country right now. They've proven it. They can. Tech ain't poor. I don't know if you went to, Tyler, did you go to Texas Tech? Did you get a degree? Do you have a good job? Do you know people that have good jobs? Texas Tech ain't poor. I hate to break it to you. And it ain't, I mean, obviously Texas and A&M have been around longer, but Texas Tech has caught up. You might be part of the problem of the people walking around thinking it's Texas Tech 1968, 1958. I don't know. But Tech ain't poor. Tech got money. Trust me. It's how you spend it. See what I did there? I just waited a little bit. I said, it's how you spend the money. Quit spending on things now that you're done and you built the Womble, you built all this shit, and that's great. No player cares about that going forward. The 18-year-old, the 17-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 12-year-old, they don't care about that. It's all the same. Again, I give you, and I've seen multiple NFL facilities around the country. They don't spend money on it. You know why? What do they spend money on? That's right, the players. Which Girl Scout cookies are overrated? None of them are overrated. Did you ever found audio of me and Don in the hardline from training camp? It does not exist. From summer of '94, does not exist. Will not exist. You know, ain't gonna happen. I know for a fact that ain't gonna exist. They were all. I was in the studio. They were all in their dorm rooms there at St. Ed's. It was really kind of funny. Like, a couple of rooms down. Don's on a phone. They're on the phone. It's funny. Bring back the Girl Scouts. Thanks a lot. Don't know what that is. That's weird. L Fudge underrated. Don't know what that is. Trust you. Go look at that football parking lot. Those cars are good enough to get players here, regardless of wins. Yeah, there you go. So if we got the money, why do we get the players? Why? I think you meant why don't we get the players? So you got to identify them. It's one thing to spend it. You got to spend it on the right players. Nothing changes. The ability to buy a player or recruit a player does not change. You have to identify, bring in the right player, and go from there. John, if it's not the money, is it the coaches not knowing who to bring in? I didn't even see that before I told you. It's about identifying the right players. Tyler, yes, bachelor's and master's, but I don't have the spare money to pay NIL. Well, good God, son, if you got all those degrees, you ought to be making money. My point is stop paying for facilities, pay for play. I'm with Tyler right there. Coop just hit it. My man Coop on Twitter, on X. Quit paying for things, pay for players. We are simpatico. My man Coop. No Namath. Got family in Tuscaloosa, makes me laugh. Something changed there. Here we go. When I hear people gripe about Lubbock, yes, 100%. As I said, if recruiting was all about destination locale, Hawaii would be number one in college football. San Diego State would be number two. Snoqualmie Falls, outside of northern Washington, would be number three. And if they could put a team in Red River, New Mexico, would be number four. Chris, you've dropped $1 million each for softball and basketball players. You ain't poor. Absolutely. 100%. You ain't poor. A-Wink is on Twitter X. If I'm Joey, I got to run the conference. To do that, do I bench everyone injured to be ready for conference play? All right, so we're talking about injuries and different things right now with Texas Tech. No, you don't, and you're not going to run the conference. You're going to try to get to 8 wins, 9 wins based on what you got. You don't need to sit player. You got to play what you got. He doesn't have to run the. Why does he have to run the conference? Are you going to fire him if he doesn't win the Big 12? That's insane. Craig, best cookie is the Great American Cookie Company sugar cookie sandwich with a buttercream icing in the middle. Sounds like a man who's ordered it a couple of times before. Not going to argue with you. Years ago, in the late 80s. Good God, how old am I? Late 90s, early 2000s. Trying to think what year it was. Yeah, late 90s. We did the Marsha Sharp radio show in the mall, right outside of the entrance to J.C. Penney's, in the freaking, Great American Cookie Company thing that you had on the mall was right down there. So every night when we would do the show during basketball, they would bring us a big ass cookie. Evil. So good. Don't ever remember getting one like what you're talking about, I remember that, but we can get a cookie. Trey says we didn't get cookies much either. Mostly it was a lot of peanut butter and a sleeve of Zesta saltines. He's talking about his service to the United States Navy. God bless you. Talking about cookies. What? Cookies? Huh? Randy, let's see. Hyatt, you nailed it. Last week, Saban said if we are going to spend $20 million for revenue sharing, you better have the right players. Yeah. Collier, I'll shave the next time you Periscope. Dude, you just need to shave. I mean, let's be honest. You're on TV, not some sort of slap ass little show like this. You got viewers. I do miss Periscope. Periscope was great. That Twitter killed it off with old Jack. Elon, bring it back, man. It was good. Glad you guys are with us wherever you are. We got a few more minutes left with you tonight. 23 years ago today, your most vivid memories of the attacks on America, September 11th. I can give you some of mine, and you can give us some of yours. Is the transfer portal in NIL good or bad for Tech football right now? You tell me. And then over under and rated right cookies. I submit to you the Nutter Butter, the most underrated cookie of all time. And then just general questions and comments. So glad you're with us tonight. And again, please share this, and we'll put this on our website, theraiderland.com, here later tonight. You go link to that. Invite your friends in, grow it. I mean, we got great sponsors. The Shropshire Agency, of course. Lubbock, Texas, independent, just like you. United Supermarkets. They support Texas Tech, unlike some stores around here. We got Boot City, 1 Money, 7 Mile outside the West Loop, Western Wear. We got Arctic Air, the studios tonight. Arctic, didn't need to be Arctic. But winter is coming, and they're going to be there for you when your heater is not doing the heating stuff. And then we got a lot of great sponsors that are outside the area. I mentioned Tall Pine Resort in Red River, that if you want to throw back to yesteryear, if you want something really retro, that's where you go. Up the canyon, man. It's awesome. What kind of cookies does Coach Sharp like? I have no idea, because she'd always let me take the cookie home because she knew I was getting paid crap. NFL with the nicest facilities are the Cowboys. That should tell you the worth of nice facilities. Yeah, pretty much. The other one, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers have an amazing facility. You know whose facility is typically rated worst when they do the anonymous, they poll all the players and say, all right, You know which team scores the lowest on the facilities, amenities, and everything else? I'll let you get in on that for just to have a second. See if you can guess. Good call on the macadamia. Macadamia is great. Peanut butter cookies in general underrated. Always peanut butter cookies with M&Ms. The ultimate cookie, the best homemade cookie. Peanut butter cookies, M&Ms. Boom, done. 23 years ago today, we weren't Republican or Democrat, black or white. We were hurt, pissed off Americans. Yeah, we were. Fake Natalie Manson recently graduated from tech. I don't believe that. I was getting ready for work. Oh, we're talking about 9/11. Sorry. Listen to the Gentle Musers talk to Jerry before heading to work. They told him they had to cut the interview short. The World Trade Center got bombed. They didn't know a plane hit it. Yeah, didn't know it. No, not Green Bay. No. Ryan Ivey says the Chiefs voted the worst facilities. Bingo. Same with Timbo. 100% the Chiefs. Every year. Chiefs. Windowless. Looks like crap. So that tells you, I think, where college is going to go. When the guys start getting paid, they don't really care about all the other stuff around it. You know, they want their money. They get their money. Yeah, fake Natalie Maines. There was a lot. Like I said, my alarm went off at 7:45, I think, that morning. What the hell was I thinking? And it was on Sportsline with Jack Dell and Steve Dell. And I'm still crawling out of the post Monday night football haze from New York and Denver. And we'd been there at Cujo's, me and F. Scott Fitzgerald. Don Williams left early, as he always does. And, you know, might have stayed up a little late that night. Watched Northern Exposure on TV, the 1:30 in the morning replay at the time, which is the only time you could get it. Drifted off to sleep, goes off, and there you go. And you hear Jack and Steve talking about, you know, it looks like a plane hit something. You know, thinking, by the time I get out of the shower, it's on. 100%. So at the time at my house, one of my best friends had recently gotten married. They were waiting to get into their house that they were moving into. So his wife was staying with us, or with us, and she was a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines. So it's 8:20, 8:30 maybe by now. I'm out of the shower, I'm getting cleaned up, about to come out, and I hear her on the phone. She is a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and I'll never forget the chilling words that I heard her say, "Oh my God, was it one of ours?" And that's when it totally changed for me that morning, that it went from being oh, will something happen in New York, to, oh my God, something is happening to us, to America. And I heard her say, "Oh my God, was it one of ours?" And, you know, at that point, she's in the living room on her phone, trying to get a hold of Southwest Airlines out of Dallas, trying to get a hold of anybody to find out what is going on. And I'm, you know, put yourself back in that day, that morning, because you have no programming that has you going, "Oh yeah, I'm walking out, you know, in the living room, and I'm looking on a TV, and there's crap burning up," and you have no ability to process what is going on. It's easy to do it now, thinking back. It's easy, you know, but in the moment, you have to put yourself back in the moment. We had no programming on what that was. And probably for the next hour, we just sat there and watching the TV, and she's on the phone. I'm trying to get a hold of my now wife at work, and she was in a building that was locked down because it had federal medical and federal, in the building. And nothing made sense. Not a damn thing made sense. And you watch it fall, you see it happen, and nothing is making sense. Not a thing. And you sit there and you're processing. And this is going to sound stupid right now, but it made sense to me at the time. Actually, it probably didn't make sense. So I'm in contact with the radio station, and we are obviously not going to go on the air that night with the Williams and Hyatt show. In fact, by noon, the program director had made the decision to go to wall to wall with news and whatever network we had at the time. So all sports stations scraps it, goes total news. This is noon on Tuesday. We don't go on the air live on the station until Thursday night with our show, me and Don, live from 50th Street Caboose. And all it was a cathartic processing of emotions and everything else. Games had been canceled. There was nothing going on. We didn't know really what to talk about. We just knew we needed to be on the air. So we were on the air. But that day, so it's probably around noon or so, and you don't know what to do. It's easy to remember now. Think about this, but you put yourself in the moment. So I went and got a haircut. I went to Howard's barbershop, my barbershop on 34th and University, and got there, and there were probably about 5 or 6 other people there. TV was on. Nobody's really saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. There's conversation. There's trying to process, and we're all just kind of just like, what the hell? So I go get a haircut. The next thing that became the most important thing that day that we could control, and depending on how old you are and what you remember and whatnot, was buying gas. And I go and I gas up my truck. And because, you go back to 1990 and the Kuwait War and gas shut up and everything, it's like, my God, we're not having gas. You got to get gas. We're filling up gas cans, putting them in the back of the truck. And then, like, when my wife finally got released from well, she wasn't my wife yet. It took a while to convince her. It took a long ass time to convince her. But when she finally got out of the building, all for it, like, gotta meet over here, gotta get gas. Meet, go get gas. And you go home and you're just like, what the hell? What now? Never never forget how you felt that day and the next day and the next couple of days. If you're my age, I'm 55 years old. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget the ability to tell that to your kids, your grandkids, whatever, on what it felt like that day, because it becomes just a show. It becomes a TV show, and it loses the visceral emotion and everything that was transpiring that day. Never forget that. You forget that, and you lose everything on why it mattered to do what we needed to do. Uh, Seeing Scarlett was in the 8th grade. Remember teacher going to knock on a door. Someone on the other side told her, thought we said a courthouse was on fire. The teacher walked straight to TV, turned on. We all watched the rest of the morning, stunned silence. 8th grade. Be hard to handle that at 8th grade. I remember going home that night. Mom made stew, and our house was full of friends and family. Everyone just wanted to be together. I was young, but still remember the day vividly. Good. Never forget it. Seeing Scarlett, never forget it. Don't forget that day. Don't forget every aspect about that day. 6th grade. That's fine. That's fine. 6th grade, even better. Don't forget that day. Be able to tell that day. Be able to tell that story. Because every year that goes by, it becomes, as I said, just videos and newsreel, just like Pearl Harbor, you know. I can remember every aspect of that night, before, the day, everything about it, and I don't want to ever let it go. Doesn't mean you have to hate, just don't remember. I mean, just don't forget. Doesn't mean you have to hate. Just you try to you try to compartmentalize maybe the hatred you had that day, and then but you've got to be able to explain it to people as the years go by, and why it matters, why it's important. Craig, I was in New Jersey 2 weeks, no freight moving across the country. All right, one last little bit on that. So the Lady Raiders, we have a scheduled trip and tournament in New York City in November of that year. And so we go, and of course, everything is different. We were there in New York City on the 99th and 100th day after the bombing. We went to ground zero. But and as much as going down to ground zero on day 99, I think it was day 99 or 100. I can't remember which. And there was still smoke rising. I can't explain to you what it was like being there at that time. But the thing that still resonates with me on that trip with the Lady Raiders was flying in to New York City. Yeah, not many memories. And I understand. So as we are flying in New York City's on an American Airlines flight, and I'd flown into New York several times before. I can't tell you the heavy silence that fell over the plane as we began to come into New York. I think we landed at LaGuardia. Pretty sure we did. But that the abject absence of sound other than the engines on that plane coming in. Usually people are talking, whatever, there's stuff. No, not a word, nothing. And people looking out the windows. No sound. If you can imagine an airplane with no sound other than the engines, and every time the engines made a sound, you said, "Whoa, right? We're all good. We're good. We're all right. Okay, yeah, we're all right." Never have I ever experienced anything like that flying in like we did that day. Unbelievable. And then, of course, we go down to ground zero, and I've been to the memorial and everything else. But that plane coming in, what everybody was thinking the same thing, right? Everybody on that plane was thinking the same thing. That everybody on those three planes that day were just on a plane until they weren't. I'll never forget that moment. All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for letting me rant, talk, and do whatever. I appreciate it. If you want to, you can share this. TheRaiderland.com. We'll have it posted up here in a little bit on the website. Tomorrow, we'll be back with you. TheRaiderland.com. Thursday question of the day. Everything else, we'll get ready for North Texas and Texas Tech football getting ready to go. All the good stuff. And you're